Some men believe they have to be very, very financially successful before they approach a relationship, let alone approaching a relationship with a woman that they feel already has some kind of success. Mm-hmm. When you are a woman and on the surface, you have what they would deem as success, I think some men see that as unattainable. And they feel like they have to be in a certain place to even approach you. Then you have the men who do not respect confident women or women who are ambitious. They see it as masculine to be an ambitious woman and not feminine. Why do you not want to be in the home? Why are you focused on having a career? Why is your career important to you? But then I do say to my female friends who are ambitious, who are successful, who are outspoken, who are confident, they're just not the men for you.
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get into it. So real quick, I'm just going to go over a few of the comments. One comment says, many women that are ambitious and career driven quite often exhibit behavior that is aggressive in tone and demeanor. These women may have on pretty clothes, but they are not exhibiting behaviors of someone who is attractive to a man. I like the woman that can be successful, ambitious, but it's not something that we have to discuss often, or she normalizes her situation. To be honest, does a woman want to be around a man that has a habit of saying they're ambitious and successful? No. Someone else says, it is easy to gain control over a woman who is a stay-at-home and fully dependent on the man financially. Most of the time, women don't have a say. A career woman has a high chance and will walk away and not entertain disrespectful behavior. Just my thoughts. Here's the final one. It's not you for sure, as long as you're able to tap into your divine feminine energy and don't get stuck in delivery mood, which will repel grounded masculine men. So I think that we will always be talking about the whole successful woman trope, just simply because the heart is in the wrong place. I've discussed this at length in many videos, but it's like I've said before, in my belief system, when I see the successful woman, I see her very much like the woman that is in Proverbs 31. The woman in Proverbs 31 is successful. She does have her businesses. She is doing these great things. But the reason why she's doing those things is she's doing it for her family. She's doing it for the glory of God. She is not doing it for herself. See, I don't think successful women are bad women. I just think that in the world that we live in, that desire within them has been hijacked, and it is now being pointed at the wrong place. Remember, like every once in a while, you will see an athlete or maybe even an actress or an actor, in Hollywood, and maybe they'll win an Oscar, or somebody might win the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals or whatever it is, right? And they will be very quick to say, I could not have gotten here without God. It was because of God that I was able to do this thing. And sometimes, honestly, in our secular world, they're trying to shut them up. They're trying to say, don't give glory to God. This is the exact same thing. When a successful woman humbles herself before the Lord and then recognizes that when she's in a relationship, that her money and her power and her status do not negate the fact, that she is now married to a man. And either, I would definitely say that, the man needs to be the covering. That's biblical. But even if she's going to go for a more secular route of saying that she's 50-50 with the man, it's the same. It still kind of works the same way. Because if she's coming in believing that she has more power in the relationship just because she has all this success, again, that is the beginning of the downfall. And what I've noticed with most of these women, that is the thing that the devil, as we say in the Christian world, or the world is how we would say it in other ways, have kind of gotten in women's heads and has thrown them off, right? It is just totally thrown them off and is made it where it's hard for them to see their path, right? Now, if you've been hanging out with me for any length of time, I talk about 3 distinct personalities: the instinct type, the thinking type, and the heart type, right? And according to those things, remember we have hybrids, so we can have like a thinking heart and we can have a heart instinct, blah, 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 right? And anytime that you're really dealing with any woman that is talking like the particular woman that we just watched, or that is really even complaining, 9 times out of 10, they line up with instinct energy. It doesn't mean the woman is full of instinct energy. She could be thinking instinct. She could be heart instinct, okay, which means that heart first, instinct second. But it's the fact that the instinct energy is out of control, all right? And how do you know if instinct energy is out of control? It's simple. Does God tame the energy? That's it. Does God tame the energy? See, one of the things that it talks about in the Bible, and actually one of the commenters said something similar. It said, for a person to never boast upon themselves. Let other people do it to you, okay, but don't do it yourself. In another place, it says pride comes before the fall, to be humble, right? Instinct energy, it really isn't confident, it's arrogant. I know because I'm instinct driven. And as a man growing up, I had lots and lots of women tell me I was arrogant. Okay? I'm just being real. But as a man, a lot of women are attracted to arrogant men. And I can go around using the term, yeah, I'm arrogant. What of it? And I can still get a lot of women that would gladly date me because I am arrogant. But as a woman, men do not like arrogance. That is the exact opposite of what the average man likes. They prefer humbleness and kindness. In fact, kindness is one of the 3 tenets that most men are looking for in the non-negotiables. So the fact that an instinct-driven woman tends not to be kind is the literal downfall. But if she humbles herself before the Lord, and it took me time to humble myself before the Lord, okay, that is that place when your arrogance turns into confidence. Because you have now confidence in the Lord that he is doing you or setting you along a path that is going to work for you. Right? Does this make sense? And see, the reason why we continue to have this argument, to be honest with you, is because 9 times out of 10, when these types of videos come up, even though I'm a more explaining, fair type, person, at least I try to be, I should say, I don't find a lot of those women watching these videos. Because most of us, we avoid videos that are going to cause us pain. Unless we're just really, really curious about it, or we just think somebody is saying something totally different or whatever, we generally avoid it. Okay, we avoid the conversations that we need to listen to the most because we don't want to hear the pain. And even when you start talking about, the church, because we discuss that every blue moon, a lot of times the churches, not all churches, but some churches, they don't want to talk about these types of subjects, even the whole masculine, feminine, instinct-driven, thinking-driven, heart-driven woman type of conversations for the exact same reason. They don't want to bring it up because they don't want to offend any of the women in their congregation. And generally speaking, your instinct-driven women, i.e. your confident women, i.e. your ambitious women, are generally going to be the women who make the most money in the congregation. One of the things that I'm always letting you all know is that our world, unfortunately, leans towards money. Most people are out here doing this job, whatever it is that they're doing, for money. And I'll admit, even for myself, it's hard not to think about the money element. But I'm always trying to reorganize myself back under God. It literally is a daily walk to try to stay under God, to try to make sure, because I know, like, even with this channel, it's like I've told you all before, I've seen videos that have gone and made 7,000, 8,000 hits on it. And those subjects over and over again, will show up. And so I know I can make that video, I can get 7,000 hits, and I'm like, man, I could just go and do that, and tomorrow, or maybe in a year, I might have 100,000 subscribers. But then every time I think about that, I'm like, and I feel, that tug of God saying, well, is that really going to be the best thing? Is that really going to help? So then I have to bring myself back down and say, you're right, Lord, I'm wrong. Okay, let me get back to the way you are wanting things. But see, most people out here, that's what they care about. They care about the money. It's all about the money. Okay, and so if they think they can poke at something, and that poking, every time they poke it, is gonna make them $1,000. That's exactly what they're gonna do. And when you have women that are leaning into instinct energy, leaning into what most people consider masculine energy, or confident energy, or arrogant energy, those women are going to avoid really great conversations, because most of these people out here, they only care about money. So they're going to pick at them in a very painful way to get as much drama as they can out of the situation so that they can make the most money. So I want to make sure everybody kind of understands what's happening out here in this space. But for these types of women, the reason why they struggle is 3 types of women that struggle the most. In my research, it's 3 types of women that struggle the most. Okay. The very first type of woman that struggles the most is the woman, I'm just going to be real, that's tall. Generally, women that are over 5'7", 5'8", they struggle. Sometimes they can be the nicest, sweetest women, but they tend to struggle just simply because they really want a taller man. And that's that inner feminine desire. And a lot of times it's just very difficult for them to get it, because a lot of 6 foot tall guys will actually go after a 5'3" woman. And so it actually throws off the balance of the amount of tall men, okay, that are actually out there. So I do see them suffer a little bit. Not all of them, because some of them kind of go ahead and say, I'll date a guy my height, or even if he's an inch shorter, as long as he's good to me. But, again, that's one group that suffers. The second group of women that suffers is what I would call the more party type of woman. This woman generally wants to explore things as far as clubs and parties and having fun. She's generally leaning more to the fun of life, right? And that kind of goes against being at home. I don't think a lot of women kind of understand that energy has to be under control. And I find that those women that lean into that, they tend to, struggle a little bit. And then the final one is the instinct-driven woman. Okay, and the reason why, like I said, is because men do not like it when a woman doesn't exhibit kindness all the time. And in order to be instinct-driven, first of all, you have to cut off your emotions. That's part of it. And then the second part of it is that you have to take that kindness and throw it out the window, because when you're doing a business deal, you can't lean into kindness. Because the person across the table from you just wants to make money off you. And if they feel like they can rip you off, okay. And so a lot of women understand that they have to be extremely strong in those situations in order to get, to where they're trying to go. And so therefore they turn their kindness off and they become very direct. All right. And men, when it comes to dating, we don't like that. We're not attracted to that. Okay. And so, and again, we're talking about the average man here. So what happens to most of these women? Again, she kind of explained it. And I don't know if you all pretty much got that. So I'm actually going to play it again to make sure that you understand kind of what she's saying.
To be very, very financially successful before they approach a relationship, let alone approaching a relationship with a woman that they feel already has some kind of success. Mm-hmm. When you are a woman and on the surface, you have what they would deem as success, I think some men see that as unattainable and they feel like they have to be in a certain place to even approach you. Then you have the men who do not respect confident women or women who are ambitious. They see it as masculine to be an ambitious woman and not feminine. Why do you not want to be in the home? Why are you focused on having a career? Why is your career important to you? But then I do say to my female friends who are ambitious, who are successful, who are outspoken, who are confident, they're just not the men for you.
So what she said at the very beginning of that is basically dealing with men that are basically insecure. Okay. And a lot of men don't like that. And I do believe that most of the men that are watching me don't feel insecure. But we also have to remember, you ain't the only man in the world. All right. So these women are running into men, okay, that are insecure. But this is the thing that I will say. Remember what I'm always talking about the train that leaves the station. So a man has to have his purpose. He has to have his vision. And that is way down at the end of those train tracks. And he is going down those train tracks towards that vision. And I'm always telling women to jump on board a man's train that is moving. Okay, it might be scary to jump on board while he's moving, but that's what you have to do if you really want a strong, confident man, right? But notice, like I said, what she's talking about. She's talking about these men being insecure. See, a man is insecure, okay, when he feels like he can never reach the potential of the woman. And the men that are insecure like that generally have no vision. They have no focus. All they do is sit around and talk to women, okay, which is actually very feminine. As I've been trying to tell y'all, that's feminine characteristics. So what happens is these women, see, I'm constantly trying to tell people, I don't think a lot of people really get this understanding, is that most people, most couples, even most friendships, okay, are really built on masculine and feminine. Almost everything is built that way. And the reason why I don't like using the terms masculine and feminine all the time is simply because we think masculine means man and feminine means woman, and it doesn't. Okay, feminine just leans into the emotions and masculine leans into logic. All right, so when you have a woman that is walking around in her logic, and not just logic, action-oriented logic, okay, which is going to be instinct-driven women, those women are attracted to men that walk in their emotions. Because, see, everybody wants an emotional release. I'm instinct-driven, okay? I'm just telling you straight up. So for me, there is a part of me that wants an emotional release. And that emotional release comes from a feminine woman, right? That femininity within her, okay, can reach into the masculinity within me, okay, and it balances us, if this makes sense. You know, another way to see it is like soft and hard. A lot of times what I would tell people is that if you take a pillow, which is soft, most people understand that it is soft, and you start to hit the pillow, okay, which is hard. Your fist is hard, so you're hitting the pillow. Okay, and I'm not saying for men to hit women or for women to hit men. All right, but as you're doing that, what are you really doing to the pillow? You're fluffing it. You're actually making it softer. It's something about that action that kind of fluffs the pillow. The more you shake it around and you quote unquote manhandle it, you're actually making the pillow softer. So a man that is walking in his masculinity, when he talks to a woman that is truly walking in her femininity, they balance each other. They truly balance each other. And then she knows how to fully get him under control. She can, resolve his anger. She can help him to focus. She becomes that true helpmeet. But when a woman is walking in that, she seeks out a man to do the exact same thing. But at that point, the woman is at odds with herself because the average woman wants a man that is some kind of way a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter, a little bit better. And like most women that I've talked to about that have said, yeah, they do kind of want that. And so when you're dealing with an instinct-driven woman, the problem is she's already that. She's already walking around in a 9 out of 10 strength and a 9 out of 10 logic and a 9 out of 10 conquer ability of the world. And when you deal with men that are walking around in that same energy, that's not what they crave from a woman. Now, some of them do. Okay, it's not like none of them are like this. Okay, it's just that most men at that level, they don't crave that. And what we see, just kind of like I was telling you, the 3 types of women that, have it the hardest, which is the woman that wants to party, play around, be out there, have fun, the woman that is tall, and then also the woman that's instinct driven. What we also see on the other side is that the three types of men that go with those women also have it the hardest. Men that are shorter than average. Men that are like 5'6", 5'5". Those men have a hard time. The men, okay, that are a lot more reserved. Okay, they are introverted. All they want to do is sit in the house. All they want to do maybe play video games and be left alone. Those men have, shyer, quieter. those men have a harder time. And then also the man that is the heart type. He's the supporter. He's going to be there for you. You know, when a woman's building her business, he's right there beside her saying, okay, well, I'll watch the kids. You go build that business. Okay. And when you're back, I'll have dinner ready. That guy has a hard time as well. And what we see is that these two really go together. See, all these women go with these men, but these women don't want these men. But if it was reversed, those women would be desired. You see how that works? Because the way the masculine and feminine mind works is not the fact that these women are confident. It's really the fact that they're more arrogant. They come off arrogant, okay, to most men. And the men that they desire, which are those upwardly mobile men, those men want something totally different in women. And therefore, those women have a harder time. But those women can still find men by looking towards Proverbs 31 and recognizing that when they shut that off in a relationship, then they can get the man that they want. But they have to shut that side of them off. Now, remember, in 2025, we will be having Zoom lives on Thursday. Okay, generally speaking, they're going to be every first and third Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern time. That's New York, Atlanta time. And you all can go to the community tab. If you hit the notifications, you'll get a little message. So that's another reason why you want to hit the notifications once you subscribe. You can also be a part of those. I'm always open into listening to each and every last person that comes on in a respectful manner, because we're all about solving problems here. We're not about drama, okay? And for men, I just did a video talking about men walking in their feminine. I don't need men complaining, arguing, fussing, and fighting about this, that, and the third on the call, because that just lets me know you're walking in your feminine. And if I find that, I'm kicking you off, okay? Because I do find that most women who walk in their feminine, they don't mind me. They generally don't have a problem with me having authority. And I find that most women, they're walking more in their logic. They're walking with logic. So again, there's no drama. So I'm just letting you know how drama, comes in, and I'm not going to put up with it, if you want to be on those calls, because again, we're all about solving problems. And I don't understand why you would watch me if you're not about solving problems. The next thing is that we are going to continue with the speed dating. We had one recently, and we're going to continue to have more. So if you are interested, I'm switching up the names a little bit. It used to be called Pop the Balloon. It might be called something else soon. So, as you guys are looking down there in that description, you'll find the information. You have to fill out the questionnaire. Without the questionnaire, you're not getting on ever. And we had some people that were a little confused by that recently, but you're not getting on unless you fill out the questionnaire. The next thing is we're only going to showcase a few people in a certain region. All right. That is how this particular thing works, because I'm trying to allow people to be seen. That is the whole purpose of this. Now, if we want to just have an open forum for people to do that, I'm also thinking about that and trying to figure out the best way to do that also in the future. So that might come as well. If you are interested in collabing with me, talking to me, I'm almost always open, as long as you're willing to talk through things either from a Christian perspective or through a logical perspective or through let's help each other perspective. So if you're not about drama, if you're not just out here on YouTube trying to make money, but you're actually trying to help people, then hit me up on Instagram, okay? Because my DMs are open, and most of the people that have hit me up out there know that I'm pretty friendly, and I will talk to you without fail. All right. So besides that, please like, please subscribe, hit that bell, and I will see you all in the very next video.